Johannes Leak joins us now to look at cartoons. Thanks for joining us, mate. But we're missing your cartooning. You're on holiday, so you're off surfing instead of doing cartoons. Do you get frustrated? Do you come home from a surf with a great idea and think, hang on, I can't do it because I'm on leave?
Oh, look, I do find my mind wandering in that direction, but then I get this overwhelming sense of relief that I actually don't have to nail one that day, and I can think about getting around to doing other things. Of course, this was supposed to be my honeymoon, but we were all set to go somewhere, and we were thinking of magical places to go that we'd never been before. Instead, I'm stuck cleaning out the garage and pottering around the house because that's what we all have to do at the moment. So
that's it. The age of coronavirus, your honeymoon at home. How about that?
That's right. Exactly.
Well, let's look at John Spooner, who's stepped into the breach for you, great cartoonist at the Australian. I thought this was extraordinary at the Weekend Australian, talking about China and the coronavirus. And he's got the servant coming into Xi Jinping saying, "It's Scott Morrison, sir. He wants to inspect your laboratory." And Xi Jinping says, "Which one?" And he's got bats in cages and monkeys, not to mention Falun Gong, Uyghurs and the like. I mean, this is a really direct and powerful cartoon, isn't it?
It sure is, yes. And, well, he's pointing out something which is patently true, which is that China has proven they can't be trusted when it comes to being upfront with the world about this disaster which originated in their backyard. But they're also not upfront about us. They're not upfront with the rest of the world when it comes to all sorts of other dark and shady businesses and activities that they're involved in, such as these human rights breaches concerning ethnic minorities, religious minorities, even religious minorities. And I think he's made a very powerful statement there. And I do love there's certain details. I just love the little carpet, that's the Chinese flag, that's where the broom's just been used to sweep the virus bugs underneath it. That's a lovely touch.
Yes, and he's got skulls in test tubes and all sorts of things in beakers. It is extraordinary.
Yeah.
I'd love to know how the Chinese embassy reported this one back to Beijing. It would have been very difficult for them to describe. I think they might have just photocopied it, sent it to Beijing and said, "You guys work it out."
Yeah, well, I have to ask John if he's noticed that he's getting these weird Chinese robocalls that I've been getting ever since I did a few of these cartoons.
They'll be on to it, for sure.
Every day I'm getting these weird phone calls from numbers I don't recognise with these recorded messages in Chinese, and I'm thinking somebody's watching me. Something weird is going on.
Yeah, just because you're paranoid, don't forget the bastards might be out to get you. Now, let's have a quick look at a couple of cartoons on the Virgin crisis here. Paul Zanetti has got Scott Morrison saying he must think we're naive or gullible. He's got Richard Branson with his bowl out for cash. And Josh Frydenberg says, "Virgins even," which is kind of cute. And there's one from Fairfax or Nine newspapers here, Kathy Wilcox. I like this one on Virgin as well. She's got Virgin Airlines trading graph, of course, flattening like our coronavirus graph. And the businessman here saying, "Please adopt the brace position." Exactly. Kind of dark humour there about Virgin's fortunes, Johannes.
Yeah. Well, they were headed for a crash and have since crashed. But it's lovely taking it out of the cockpit or the cabin of the aircraft and using the same language in the boardroom. I think is very clever.
And what about Mark Knight in the Herald Sun and in the Daily Telegraph this week with Warren Brown on leave? He's taken Kim Jong-un and Weekend at Bernie's, and it just it speaks for itself, doesn't it? We don't know whether Kim Jong-un is alive or dead, and neither do the people of Pyongyang in Weekend at Kimmy's. And the little caption here from the little snail is, "North Korea, the isolation experts."
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful drawing and it's hilarious. I love that stick that's sort of propping the arm up to make sure that it stays up there as he's waving to the crowd. But it makes you wonder. I mean, everybody's scratching their heads wondering if he might be dead or very close to it at the moment. But you sort of think, well, maybe this has been going on for a lot longer than we think. we worry about news coming out of China being unreliable, but we just know that news coming out of North Korea is not to be believed. Yeah. So who knows what's going on? But you sort of, as a cartoonist, you do have to be grateful that there are certain leaders in the world that you can make those kind of jokes about and nobody complains.
Well, I'm just wondering whether Kim Jong-un's had a really bad haircut and doesn't want to come out in public. But I think we can scrap that idea because he's been shameless on that front in the past. Thanks so much for joining us, Johannes. I really appreciate it. See you next week.